coming to you yet again with Tea Tuesday. I've talked about some of this before, and I decided that based on some conversations I've had recently, both with clients and other women, that I'm going to touch on it again and do it in a little bit more stronger, more definitive fashion, because clearly I didn't get my point across the first time. So, that first time I'm referencing it was the perfectionism discussion that I had. I think that might have been the first tee. Oh, and by the way, you probably see this beautiful cement wall behind me. I'm in Atlanta at the Georgia World Congress Conference Center, so here at the North American Commercial Vehicle Week. So here at the show. So not the most beautiful surroundings, but anyway, most important is what we're going to talk about today. So back to what I was saying. So one of my earlier Tea Tuesdays was around perfectionism and the fact that we as women, or even some guys, believe that we have to, check all the boxes absolutely 100%. We in every aspect of the role that we have to do every part of that role in the most perfect fashion before even ourselves can think about doing another role, doing an assignment, doing something out of the box, and we also think that for some reason we're not even going to be considered unless we're perfect. Revisiting that again, and this time in the context of around how that mentality gets in our own way, how that causes we develop our own roadblocks, we develop our own obstacles with that kind of mentality. But here's another aspect that I want to share, another part of that same getting in our own way. I was talking to one of my clients, and she mentioned to me that, I come in and I do the job, I do the task at hand, I perform per the job description. So, and I probably do that, I do that pretty well. So I'm not quite understanding why I haven't gotten the opportunity in my past in those roles to become director or vice president or so. I mean, I followed the job description. What more do they want? And it's just fascinating to me how we think that somehow ourselves apart. Somehow that, people just automatically see us just because we show up, just because the work product per the job description is good. That's enough, and that therefore, we are going to be given that opportunity for an overseas assignment. We're going to be given that special project because we come every day. We come in every day, click the time card, do the task at hand, and that's it. I mean, that is yet another type of mentality, another thing we do to ourselves that gets in our own way. It just simply isn't enough to just show up. You do have to set yourself apart. I mean, it's not so simple to just read the job description and tick off every single bullet of that job description and think that that is going to move the needle. It's not going to happen. But it's that mentality that confines us, that slows our momentum down. And then we're looking around, and that's another thing. We're looking around over here at Joe, and we're looking over here at Mary Sue. I had lunch with someone yesterday, and she said to me, well, Linda, Sally Ann doesn't have to do XYZ, or Joe Blow did XYZ and it worked for him, or Sue didn't and it worked for her. And I had to tell her, look, why are you paying attention to everybody else around you? That's getting in your own way also. You're so caught up in what is working or doesn't work for other people that you ain't about what's going on here. You're not about your business. You're not focused on what you can do to set yourself apart. You're not focused on your backyard. My mother used to say, I used to say to her all the time when I was in elementary school, sometimes when I was in high school, I was like, well, I don't understand why I can't go. So-and-so can go. I don't understand why I can't have that certain bike. So-and-so got one. Or I can't understand why I have to go to bed at such a time. So and so don't have to do it. And it could have been some of my cousins. I'm telling you, I ain't necessarily talking about the neighbors. Some of my cousins could do some things that I couldn't do. And you know what Naomi Gatewood, or at that time, Naomi Brown told me? She wasn't worried about anybody else and what anybody else could do. She was worried about me. And she wanted to make sure that what happened with Linda Brown used to be my, I know, so common, Linda Brown, what can I say? But what happened with Linda Brown was what she thought was best for Linda Brown in the future. Wasn't worried about everybody else. So, that's just a few things that I have recently heard on a regular basis regarding other people or checking the box, not doing, the extra effort to set ourselves apart. And these are all things we create for ourselves. I mean, there's enough obstacles on this corporate ladder climb, especially for women. There are enough challenges. There are enough obstacles. We don't need to create more. Worrying about Joe Blow next to us, doing the minimum, frankly, job description, minimum, right? Doing the minimum, the perfectionism thing, all of that. We're just getting in our own way. Getting in our own way. Then we also have the part where, maybe I'm not good enough. So then there's that piece of that self-confidence thing where we think, and I really think it's around the perfectionism thing, where we think we're not good enough. Gets in our own way. Gets in our own way. What we need to be really working towards and focused on is, what can I do? What is it about me that changes the game? What is it about me and the role that I'm doing today that I can do at a level that no one else can do? You are. Everything about you is special and brings some uniqueness to the table. You need to let that shine. Look at that job description. Look at those tasks, those bullets that are listed. And can you somehow, as I was, a client shared with me the other day that she was told by somebody in her leadership, color outside the lines. It was a beautiful thing when that was shared with her. How can you color outside the lines of that job description so much so that it sets yourself apart, so much so that you get some spotlight, people noticing you? How do you think out of the box? How can you take those bullets in that job description and take them to another level? It's not about you just sitting back and doing that job and just saying, you know what, oh, woe is me. I'm either bored or I'm not getting promoted. Things aren't happening. And it's everybody else's fault, or it's that job description's fault. No, it's yours, because you're in your own way. Yet again, let me tell you a story. I have a cousin. Her name is Rachel Ward. And, she worked at McDonald's. I mean, she doesn't now, but when she was in high school and a little bit before she went to college, Rachel worked at McDonald's. Okay? So girlfriend was like, look, I need to make some money, start standing on my own, so I'm going to work at McDonald's. We're from a small town. There wasn't a lot of jobs that are available. She got that McDonald's job. But let me tell you about my cousin. She didn't come in there and decide that, okay, I'm the person making fries, so therefore all I'm going to do is make fries. No. Rachel came in, got her legs under her, understood some of the nuances and procedures and the things that were unique about McDonald's. She did her fry job, and then she looked around to see, hey, what could I do differently that nobody else is doing? Is there a process in here that we probably could just tweak a little bit? Is there an approach that we could take differently, still stay in the McDonald's, brand, but just amp it up a little bit? What can I do so that I can end up climbing the ladder here while I'm at McDonald's? Because I don't want to always make fries. And I'm going to tell you what, there was a time when I would go home to Newcastle to visit, and I heard Rachel was no longer making fries. She's on the window taking an order. I would go support my cousin, place an order, say hi to her in the window. Let me tell you, before she went to college, she was working there for a couple years. She ended up being assistant manager. Why? Because she didn't stand in her own way. She didn't take that job description of just doing fries and letting that stop her. But let me tell you a little bit more about Rachel Ward. So she went to college. Girlfriend's a worker now. So she said, look, I still have to make money while I'm in school. So she went to the mall in near the college she was going to, and she got a job at Victoria's Secret. And you know, if you've been in Victoria's Secret, you walk in and there's these the girls that say, hey, how can I help you, and show you things. She was that person. That's the job she got when she walked in the door. Clearly, you know what I'm going to tell you, because I already told you the McDonald's story. Girlfriend didn't stop there. She found a way to make herself stand out at Victoria's Secret, to the point that when an opportunity came in Buffalo, New York, she was asked, do you want to go? And girlfriend jumped at the chance. It was a promotion. She had to relocate, and she went to Buffalo, New York, because she walked in the door and decided, I'm just not going to be the girl greeting everybody coming in and asking, what size do you need? How can I help you? I'm going to be that person that takes the job description and see how I can amp it up. See what I can do. See, as it is mentioned in one of my other clients, see how I can color outside the lines to separate myself so that I stand out, and boom, when an opportunity comes, they came looking for her. So, you know, look, ladies, we've got to stop the madness. We really do. We just have to stop the madness. We have to learn how to advocate for ourselves. We have to learn how to stand up. We have to learn how to quit being woe is me. We have to learn how to color outside the lines and, you know, take that job description and take it to another level. We have to learn how to just be a little bit, you know, it may be a little uncomfortable, but once you start seeing the difference, getting the recognition, then it's easy. Then you will understand that that is definitely what it takes to get to the next level. Nobody makes a difference in their careers, frankly, makes a difference in their lives with status quo. Status quo just never makes it. It just doesn't. So, you know, I hate beating dead horses and talk about subjects over and over again, but since I did that perfectionism live post, I have had this conversation, as I said, numerous times with various women, all around self-sabotage, all around I'm not good enough, all around, well, I did was on the job description and it wasn't enough, or, you know, so and so can do this, so and so can do that, and you just sitting there doing your regular mundane day-to-day tasks, not building relationships, not doing anything to help yourself, but you're looking around at everybody else. Self-sabotage. Let's stop it. You know, the title of this is Let's Get Out of Our Own Way, seriously, and let's get out of our own way now. I'm going to tell you, is nobody else is going to do it for you. They're not going to help you with it. They're going to let you sit there and stew and stir in that same circle, in that same spot, because obviously you must be happy there doing that, stewing circle in that same stuff that just sabotages your career and prevents you from even taking the second step on the ladder. So it's about time for us to own it. It's about time for us to take control of it. And it's about time for us to stop the madness. Let go of the self-sabotage. Let's do the extra effort that it takes to set ourselves apart and make a difference. All right. Have a good rest of your week. That's enough for the Tea Tuesday for today. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.